It's 2 in the morning, dead in the center of the Thar Desert. A team of paranormal investigators pack their gear, ready to leave. But as they approach their vehicle, they notice something stamped into the dust on the hood. Tiny, clear handprints. The prints of a 4- or 5-year-old child. But there are no children around. In fact, there hasn't been a single living soul here for 200 years. Welcome to Kuldara. It is widely considered India's most haunted village. We are looking at a sprawling settlement of over 400 crumbling homes, complete with streets, temples, and wells, sitting perfectly empty. The local folklore blames one man for this desolation, Salim Singh. He was the ruthless prime minister of the Jaisalmer state in the early 1800s. According to the legend, Singh demanded to marry the village chief's daughter and threatened to massacre the entire town if they refused him. The story goes that instead of handing her over, the residents made a desperate choice. In a single night, 80,000 people across 84 villages packed their lives and vanished without a trace, leaving behind a dark curse, ensuring no one could ever settle here again. It is a terrifying story, but logistically, the overnight evaporation of 80,000 people defies reality. Moving a population of that size, in secret, across a brutal desert requires an impossible level of coordination. So to find out what actually cleared this map, we have to look past the supernatural. We can start by addressing those ghostly apparitions and strange sounds. Human psychology explains most of this through a concept called pareidolia. When visitors arrive already expecting a haunted site, their brains actively hunt for patterns. Every shifting shadow becomes a spirit, and every rush of wind sounds like a whisper. It is simply confirmation bias playing out in real time. In search of a physical explanation, a forensic study published in 2017 offered an alternative to the curse. Researchers analyzed the fallen roofs and broken pillars and concluded that a massive earthquake struck the region, destroying the homes and burying the residents. This chart of recorded earthquakes reveals a fatal flaw. An earthquake hit Jaisalmer in 1819 and another in 1905, but the 1825 migration happened in a massive gap with zero recorded seismic activity. We see physical proof of this timeline in the ruins themselves. If you look closely, the stone walls are perfectly aligned. A devastating earthquake would have left massive structural cracks, but those are completely missing here. So tectonic plates did not destroy the village, and spirits did not chase everyone away. The real cause of this mass exodus has to be tied to a much more grounded force. The people who built Kuldara were the Paliwal Brahmins. They were highly skilled agricultural engineers who figured out how to conquer one of the harshest environments on Earth. This diagram shows the Kadain system, their revolutionary water harvesting invention. They used the natural slopes of the desert hills to capture and funnel the incredibly rare seasonal rainwater down into a collection basin at the bottom. Instead of evaporating in the sun, the water seeped slowly underground over months. By winter, it left a layer of highly fertile, nutrient-rich soil in the desert. This system allowed them to grow 2 crops a year. That massive agricultural surplus turned Kuldara into a regional economic center. They became experts in banking and positioned themselves perfectly along the major trade routes. At their peak, these villagers held more wealth than the local Jaisalmer royalty, but their entire empire balanced on a knife's edge of water access. About 300 years ago, the nearby Kakak River was dammed up. Without that river actively flowing and recharging the local groundwater, the wells began to go dry. By 1815, the water crisis became terminal. Farming became impossible, trade routes closed, and security weakened. The villagers faced a dual threat: violent bandit raids from the outside and Salim Singh squeezing them with crushing taxes from above. Historical records from British officer James Todd confirmed this exact decline. He documented that Kuldara's population hit a peak of over 1,500 people, but by 1815, a full decade before the legendary overnight vanishing, that population had already plummeted by half. Kuldara faded over time. A combination of severe ecological failure and brutal state oppression choked the life out of the settlement, family by family, over decades. If the migration was an agonizing, slow economic decline, that leaves us with one final mystery. who actually invented these terrifying ghost stories? The answer comes down to pure economics. When the wealthy Paliwal Brahmins fled their failing town, they couldn't carry everything. They left vast amounts of gold and coins buried beneath the stone floors of their homes. Local accounts suggest that as the village emptied, thieves and scavengers moved in. These rumors of spirits and curses functioned as a useful deterrent, keeping neighbors and officials away from the ruins at night, while looters unearthed the hidden wealth. We still see this motive in action today. In 1998, a watchman caught 2 foreign tourists inside a ruined house at night. They were using metal detectors to dig up ancient gold and silver coins, a modern echo of the same greed that helped keep the ghost legends alive for centuries. Kuldara is completely stripped of its supernatural thriller elements when you look closely at the evidence. It stands as a testament to human ingenuity in a hostile desert, and a reminder of our fragility when the environment turns against us. And as for the hauntings, sometimes ghosts are just clever fictions, invented by the living to protect buried gold.